for joining us today. We are doing this line of videos about the archangels, and today we are going to be covering Archangel Gabriel. Today we have with us Jen from the Awakened Jen Tarot, Dawn with the Astrology and Tarot Alchemy, Suri, and myself. Thank you. So it's really good to see everybody. I think we're going to have a lot of fun doing these videos with you guys and sharing this information. It's really exciting and fun. So I know we're all going to be talking about our different experiences and how we see Gabriel come in and how we do our invocations for him. And I'm going to let Jen go ahead and do an invocation for Archangel Gabriel. Go ahead.
All right. So if everyone will take 3 deep breaths with me and close your eyes and breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in my angels, archangels, ascended masters, our higher selves and guardian angels to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. So be it. All right. Are we ready for the slide?
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and pull up a slide. So for any of you who have no idea about what the archangels are or what they represent, so this one we're talking about Gabriel today, and so he's the messenger. And sorry, I want to start with sometimes we attach a gender to the angels, and personally I feel like they're kind of genderless. So sometimes Gabriel will be represented as a male, sometimes female. It's really interchangeable. But they can be seen as the messenger of God and an angel of communication. So Gabriel is really known for communication, and that's all communication, whether it be the spoken word, written word, or visions or vibrations. Gabriel helps us to speak our truth and connected with the throat chakra. And I actually, with the colors of the throat chakra, I have it's like a teal color, and I know I'll wear a teal scarf just to help me be able to speak sometimes. Being the angel of communication, he announced the coming of Jesus to Mother Mary and to Zacharias and the birth of John the Baptist. He was also known as the angel who announces God's will to mankind. As I said, connected to the throat chakra, embodies the judgment card in tarot. And I'll show you that card in just a moment. Representing spiritual awakening, answering a higher calling, redemption, decisions. His energy is seen as a white or copper light and is dressed in blue or white, also the white lily, connected to citrine, sunstone, and yellow adventuring crystals. Sometimes those are also maybe the colors that you see when he comes to you or is called in. So I'd like us all to talk about our experiences with Archangel Gabriel and how he's come to each of us or has helped us, and also letting all of you know who are watching, we've talked about this in our last video with Michael. It's you need to ask for the help from these archangels for them to come in, and to always hold gratitude, of course, for them reaching out. Do any of you want to share a story of your experience? Don't be shy. You're all.
I just wondered if we wanted to go ahead and point out when to work with Archangel Gabriel. And so I've got a list here that says, when you need clarity and communication, divine timing, or artistic inspiration, during pregnancy, fertility journeys, or new creative birthings, books, projects, and visions, to heal and open your throat chakra and learn to speak your truth with grace. And when you feel called to share your story, teach, write, or deliver messages. And I mean, that really goes into a lot of the conversation that we were having right before we started, where we were talking about the communication in all forms. And so I really want Dawn to pick up where, we were talking with that, because she brought that in for us.
Yes, very much. He's also considered the herald of visions, and these visions can also include dreams. So you'll be getting messages in through dreams, which is very much how he communicated in different times in the Bible. Was he showed up in people's dreams. And I think that's his way of being less, angels are energy is so big. And I think unconsciously we have almost that little block. And he comes in when we have the dreams, so that it can be that unconscious ability for him to give us the messages. And also, I will say, I've attended Dr. Joe Dispenza's a seminar, and one of the things he talks about is when you get into the quantum field, you don't see words, you see pictures, you see symbols, and you understand what that means. That is part of what I feel we're going into quantumly, as far as us being able to even understand each other in the future. That is going to be something that the quantum world is opening up bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. That's one of the things I feel that is happening for the collective, which is a I can't even talk. Very big jump for us. Very big jump for us. See, no one has to be worried about how we talk. So what we need to do is just realize that we will get aha moments. And that is also Gabriel giving us messages. And
Yes.
I feel it's important each time to actually ask for messages. Before you go to sleep at night, ask Archangel Gabriel to bring you messages that you need to hear or clarify something for you. That clarification piece as well, getting those aha moments in, is very, very important. So I think that is, what I feel is important. And I feel the archangels kind of also have cross jobs, So I think for scribes, he's one of those people that is also a help to writers. And so a lot of times you don't have to just limit yourself to one archangel, by the way. You can call in whoever wants to help with this or help with that. So it's just like, oh, I can only ask for one because they're all really busy. No, they can be anywhere at any time, doing gazillion things for different people. We limit that. They don't have that limit.
Yeah.
So, Sari, did you have any?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to what you said. Oftentimes, Archangel Gabriel shows up, and I feel a tightening of the throat, like my throat chakra has either been constricted. So if you find yourself coughing or it feels tight here, then you know you've got to call on someone to help you speak your truth. That's when he showed up. And I've always felt if it's a softer energy, I see white, but also I see blue that's associated with the throat chakra. But to your point about the quantum, I think as we are expanding into this fifth dimensional experience, what I think we've all been told is that language is going to become vibrational. So we won't need to have a spoken word or spoken communication. It's all telepathy. It's all pictures. It's all instantaneous. So when I work in the Akashic Records, I've told many of you that I actually hear a vibration because they don't speak with the spoken word, the keepers of the Akash. And I translate them as spoken word. Now, I've not been gifted with being able to translate other than in English. I can do Spanish and French because I already know those. But in the written word, when I've been in the Akash, I've been able to read ancient Sanskrit, Japanese, ancient Greek, Hindu, and I was able just to know what the documents meant that I was actually looking at. So as we look at how we might experience this or the presence of Archangel Gabriel is we may see more pictures in our dreams. We may see symbols in our meditations. We may know things telepathically that allow us to speak our truth. It always it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come in a spoken word. So speaking your truth might not necessarily be needing to speak it out to someone. It could be a thought. It could be in a dream. It could be a vibration. And so I think as we look at Gabriel in this new context of the quantum field, communication is going to change for each of us. And the higher consciousness part of this is understanding that we are vibrational beings. So if you find yourself talking less, or I lose words, I lose what to call certain things, and I have to think about it. But again, as we are becoming more expanded versions of our higher selves, that we will be speaking less, but probably processing more through a quantum lens of vibration. So if you find yourself losing your communication, or needing to step back and not speak as much, but kind of connect with the vibration of Gabriel, I think that's really the power, especially as all these energies are shifting. So if you are experiencing some strange kind of stuff, it's normal. It's very normal. And I think, Dawn, you were, suggesting that we just need to open ourselves up to this expanded version of Archangel Gabriel, and the fact that the power of what he brings or she brings, they're androgynous to me. What they bring is this beautiful gift of transparency, of standing in our truth and standing tall as to who we are as vibrational beings and who we are as souls. So Gabriel, I think, can help all of us reach our full potential by allowing us to stand in our authenticity in the truth of who we are as spiritual beings, not in the third dimensional aspect, but in the fifth dimensional aspect. And that to me is just such beauty. And as you said, Wendy, we have to learn to call upon them, because they can't help us unless we do that. And sometimes we forget to do that. So that's my story on Archangel Gabriel.
Well, and I just want to add this too, because I know it's very important that we've been saying asking for their help. And the reason that is that our greatest gift that we were given here is free will. No, nothing tops that. The archangels will not interfere with that. If you have certain things in your life that you're supposed to accomplish, you may have agreed to those ahead of time, before you got here, but that is free will. And for them to be able to help you, and your guides as well, you have to say, okay, I'm asking for your help and for your guidance, because that's what you want to embody in what's going on around you, whether it's information coming in, whether it's protection. Because I have always been convinced for the longest time that that is our greatest gift that we were given, was free will. And that's why the angels don't cross that threshold unless we ask. That's why it's so important to actually ask for help.
I just got this kind of dropped on me. And so it was off of this card right here. So this is from the Biblical Tarot, and this is the Judgment card. And like where we were just talking about, it doesn't always come in the spoken word. It's your conscious, like your consciousness is Gabriel literally speaking to you. And it's like, you don't, like, the world doesn't even have to tell it to you. You tell it to yourself. I mean, it just comes through, whether you ever verbally acknowledge it or not. It's like, it still drops into you like that. It's the thought forms too. That was something else that, as y'all were talking, it's like the full thought form is what is now being translated between us, not the actual words. The whole thing is just like dropped on you like that.
Yes.
You had a lot of things that you were saying before we started too, Wendy, about just how all of this is connected too. Just so do you?
Oh, yeah, I get that even in my readings. Like I said, I call upon Archangel Gabriel before every reading to help me be a clear channel and guide to just get the messages through. So it's coming, straight from the divine to whoever I'm reading for. And I feel like with the pictures, I mean, I get that when I'm doing readings, sometimes like a vision will just kind of appear. But sometimes it is auditory, sometimes it's words. But also in just the interpretation of different cards and different decks, what I see, how I interpret the pictures of the cards. Also, when you get a vision or something, or have a dream or something, I feel like, it's that vision is purposely given to you to interpret in your way, because we can all get these messages in different forms, but a lot of times the same message wants to come through. And I mean, I think we see that even with our readings every week that we all do. We all have different readings, different cards come up sometimes, but a lot of times that same core message is there throughout in every single one, and then that's when we get those synchronicities and things. It's because the messages, they want to come through. And so they come to each of us in a particular way so that we can, interpret it in the right way. So yeah, I think it's just absolutely fascinating. This is the card from the Light Seers Tarot for Archangel Gabriel, the Judgment card. And I love that you see this kind of like an angelic figure coming out of the three-dimensional figure below, and just really connecting with that kind of divine energy, and it also bringing out our gifts. Archangel Gabriel really helps us to get in tune with each of our special gifts, I think, and that's just another form of communication, and how we can interpret these things, these messages that want to come through. So it's really quite fascinating, really.
I know that I feel like when we are reading, we each have our own way of connecting. And one of the things, the second person I ever read tarot cards for, my mother asked me to read tarot cards. Okay, so I was just beginner, no pressure. I was like, oh my God. Literally in my brain, I'm going, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I have no idea. Second person I've read for. So shuffled the cards. And so I started laying things out. And the first couple things that came out were like a page in a night. And I was like, okay, well, the pages can be very much about messages, things like that. And so I kept laying out the cards. And I think this is one of the things that people will have happen to them, where they'll get sudden knowing, an insight to something, and it'll click into place. And what I had happen, and this is how I knew I was going to be fine as a tarot reader, my second reading for anybody, for my mother, I started laying out the cards, and I wrote them in a section of 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I stopped, and I was like, wait a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I counted them like 3 or 4 times. So and then I continued to lay out the rest of the cards. What I had show up in this reading for her were 5 cards straight in a row, pages and knights. And then I got the download that was all her grandsons, of which she has 5. I was like,
wow.
And I couldn't even believe it. I was like, Mom, I think all your grandsons showed up for your reading. And so, and it was crazy to me because I did not have any queens or kings show up in this reading whatsoever. And so as I was reading, because the question I asked for, what do your angels and guides want you to know? That's what she didn't know what to ask. And I said, well, how about that? And so what do your angels and guides want you to know? And that's what came out. And no one was more shocked than me to have that kind of a message, like, those are your grandsons.
Wow.
And then the message that came through was that they were all going to be just fine, that they were going to do well, that was the message. And she's like, you know what? That makes me feel better, because I know that my family is going to be okay. I mean, she's still with us, thank God. But, she's always had very poor health for the past, 10, 15 years. She's on dialysis. So all of this energy, and to have that show up in that reading, and then just to have it come in to the point where I had to stop and count all the cards at least 3 times, and they were all in a row. So you can get messages in the synchronicities, and then who would have thought that's what it was out of all the things but I was absolutely positively sure that that's what it was. So I think that communication is something that we can work that muscle. That's why I like doing the tarot cards, because a 5 of Cups means different things to me for different people. Yes. Or even for myself when it's coming in, because it's how it talks to the other cards around it, all of those things. So for me, the communication can come in different ways. And it wasn't words that I got. It was just like,
Yeah.
Well, that's, I think, why we all have the synchronicities that we have when our collective energy is together. And I think it's beautiful. All right. So this is our second session. So Archangel Gabriel, and for those of you who have not been introduced to Gabriel, a beautiful energy to connect to and to use to help you to communicate, to stand tall in your authenticity and in your truth, and to look at various means and ways as we expand our consciousness to become more quantum in our visions, in our dreams, in our spoken word, our written word, in our intuition, however it is coming to you, then that is the sign that Archangel Gabriel is around. But again, as we said before, we have to ask. So please ask this Archangel to guide and to help you. And this is the second in our series on archangels. Join us next time. Again, we're so grateful for you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.